What's going on, guys? The wise guy here, Coach Respect. I figured I'll do a live now. It's an unannounced live. It's 11:30. Um, if you jump on here now, in this video, I think I'll talk a little bit about Amazon, selling on Amazon, building a big business on Amazon, branding, that whole niche for people who want to sell on Amazon. So we'll go down the passive income stream. We'll talk about hard work and what it takes to build a big business, a big brand, branding your products in general. We'll talk about private label. Let me just fix this here. But we'll talk about private label rather than retail arbitrage today. Because a lot of people out there want to know, how they can get started with a more, not successful, but a more productive business, a business that produces more right away than say, over the course of time, accumulating inventory. Private label or the branding of business that a lot of Amazon sellers are doing is the type of business that I started with when I first started selling on Amazon. So what's up, Anna X? For FBA, is there a cutoff day for when Amazon accepts inventory? Yes and no. The cutoff day is, I got an email. See, I don't pay attention. If the answer is no, if you're Amazon FBA, you ship your inventory to Amazon, then there is no cutoff day. As long as you're doing Amazon FBA. If you're doing Amazon FBA and you're shipping your inventory to Amazon, then there is no cutoff day. If you're fulfilling orders yourself, then yes, there is a cutoff day. Q4, generally, the beginning of Q4 is the cutoff. If you don't meet certain criteria before Q4, like have been a seller, have sold a certain amount of product, have a certain amount of reviews or seller reviews, that type of stuff. So for the criteria, you'll probably have to check on Amazon's seller, what do they call it? The community page. So check there if you're doing fulfillment by merchant. But if you're doing fulfillment by Amazon, you're good. So yeah, so back to private label, branding. If you're starting an Amazon business, I recommend branding your business, coming up with an umbrella brand, a brand that you can ultimately DBA under, and essentially do business under, and create multiple brands under that are all part of the parent brand. Like Nike has pseudo brands or brands under Nike that are all associated. Jumpman is associated with Nike, and then they buy brands. Airwalk is associated with Nike, but Nike is the parent brand. So step one, think of a brand that you connect with. Maybe it's not dear to your heart yet, but something that you connect with. So take some time. How I came up with my brand is I actually started a company. I started a basketball company. And I thought over and over and over, what do I want to call my brand? Something catchy, something short, was my thing, my way about going on. And I just, once I figured out a brand name, I just used that brand name in everything that I do, to the point with when I started. And this was actually four or 5 years ago when I started that brand. Today, now every business that I go into, I'm using that brand as my umbrella. So that's my primary brand name for everything that I do, whether it's consulting, whether it is coaching, whether it is my sports brand, whether it is my gear brand, whether it is my Amazon storefront. I am using that brand as the primary name that I build all my DBAs under. So, what it really does for you in a long period of time is it ties you into the success of that brand. It becomes your baby. And so now your baby ages with time. Now my baby is 5 years old, and that's my baby. I started that baby when my older kids were in grade 7 and 8. I started that baby. Now my oldest daughter is 19, not 14 anymore. So 5 years later, my brand is 5 years old, and it's growing. It's still an infant. It's still a baby. But when you give it a value, my brand to me is worth $500,000 now. Not bad for 5 years of time cultivating my brand and building brands around that brand. So that's how you need to start a brand. Is you really need to come up with an idea, something that you enjoy doing. I love basketball. I enjoy basketball, so I built my brand and my company, a performance company based on basketball. And then did I have any clients? Like one or two in the beginning. But again, my baby is still young. When you think of it in human years, my baby is only 5 years old. It's a toddler. It's not even in kindergarten yet. So still lots of time. And like Gary Vee says, patience. Have patience with everything that you do. Be patient, patient, patient. Have a 15-year plan for the level of success that is upper level. Don't expect instant Instagram success, in a year to be rich and famous. Have patience and build that brand up. As long as you're working hard and you're putting the time and energy into building that, then you're going to build it. Okay. And it stems off to a lot of different things and actions that you got to take. But have a brand, have a passion, build a brand name around your passion, then expand your passion, expand your brand. Okay. Now take your brand everywhere that you go. If you see something that you might want to get into, use your brand name. Your parent brand name now becomes that. Spend time building your brand socially. Start social media pages. Build your brand page on Facebook. Build your brand page on Instagram. Build your brand page on Twitter. Continually add content based on your brand. Keep putting in work for your brand. And eventually what will happen is now you're reaping what you sow. You'll reap what you sow. You're putting in all the effort into building your brand, that your brand will eventually grow into what it is that you build it up to. Okay. So you got to constantly think, how can I expand my brand? Where can I take my brand? To what level can I take my brand? And it all starts with having that brand name. What's that brand name for you? A lot of people have changed their brand names. I've never changed my brand name. My brand was bigger, but my brand has now shortened itself. So initially, here's my brand. I'll show you guys my t-shirts. AIM Basketball. Okay, so that was my initial brand company. So what most people know me for as a coach. I run a performance company called AIM Basketball. And AIM became kind of my umbrella. And now everything I create brand-wise falls under the category of AIM. Whether I'm adding a prefix or a suffix or whatever the case may be, I'm building everything under the brand of AIM. But my passion is basketball. So it's really easy for me to build this brand to the point where I actually made a decision maybe 2 months ago to tattoo AIM. I've never had a tattoo. Back in I'll tell you a little story about back in the day. When I was 18, Tupac was the biggest thing. The cross on his back was the biggest thing. I wanted the cross on my back. Never did it. Now I'm 42 years old. Fast forward all these years. And now, because I just never found, I said, I'll never tattoo anything that I wouldn't appreciate over time. And I really wouldn't appreciate a cross over time. But now the brand AIM and the logo that I created is to me is so amazing that and I've built structure off words. I've taken the word aim and created sayings off of it and slogans and all that type of stuff. So I actually, at some point, I think I'll actually get it tattooed somewhere. Now I just got to think of the design that I want to tattoo. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comment section below and let me know you're hanging out live with me. I'll try to answer all your questions about branding, building a big brand, the triple B's of business, building a big brand. Uh, Again, my baby started from zero, and now I'm trying to work it and grow it up to, obviously as big as I can possibly big it. Right now, I'd say it's probably a $500,000 brand, which to me is amazing. But I have a $5 million goal that I want that brand to become. As far as a performance company, as far as I want to build camps for kids under that brand, basketball camps for kids. I do coaching under that brand. It's a family brand. It's a parent brand for my Amazon business. It's all my social medias are under that brand as well. So that's where I'm taking. And again, I'm always looking at what can I do to make that brand better? What can I do to enhance the brand? What's going on, India Tigress 604? Are you from Vancouver? What's up, Keith? Long live Tupac. Yeah, you bet. Yeah, so brand, building a big brand, that's the key to success in private label selling on Amazon. Um, because you want to connect with the brands that you're putting out into the market. You want some sort of passion behind it, behind connecting with those brands. So when you are putting out products, the brand that you created and that you start private label and the logos you start putting on your products, screening on your products, all have to do with the brands that you're building. And eventually that one first private label product that you launch, your very first one, becomes your baby. Probably is going to be one of your best products that you've launched. Then from there, that fifth one to the 10th one to the 50th, or if you're like Greg Mercer at 180 private label, Jungle, what does he call his Jungle Scout or Jungle Sticks or Jungle this? So Jungle being his umbrella of his brand. Okay, Jungle Scout is obviously his software company for product research. If you don't have Jungle Scout, make sure you guys get Jungle Scout for doing your product research. It's the best compared to all the other ones out there. I personally think it is the best. It's the one I would recommend in my course. And I've tried a few, but it's definitely my favorite. And what they're offering now with the keyword structures and the keyword optimization that's inclusive, is kind of has been a game changer for my back end. It's made things a lot more easier. So, but I use Jungle Scout as an example because Jungle is what he's used, Jungle Snugs or whatever he did for his baby bath towels. So he's using Jungle as his thing. Same thing I do with AIM, right? I use AIM as my foundation of my brand, and then I build everything else from it. If you ever see my videos, my screen in the background is called AIM Creations. So anything I'm creating, any creative work I do is under AIM, or excuse me, Amazing. So AIM, AIM, Amazing Creations. AIM being the primary brand. My sports brand is called Game Speed, GAIM Speed. So that's my brand. Okay, and again, when you're branding, you'll want to definitely look at trademarking your brand as well. Do I do online arbitrage? And if yes, is it on.ca marketplace or .com? The answer with online arbitrage is yes, but I do it differently than everybody else, and I teach it differently than everybody else. I don't do traditional tactical arbitrage or online arbitrage where you're just sitting on websites, chapters, Toys R Us, whatever, and looking at clearance and buying clearance products or anything like that. I don't do that. So I don't essentially do retail arbitrage online. I do a hybrid arbitrage, I call it. What hybrid arbitrage is, I explained it in the last video, but I'll explain it again. Hybrid arbitrage is I will um, look for products on Amazon that are popular, in demand. Okay, so I'll have a list of like 100 products that are not patented, that are popular, have low ranks, and are in demand. General commodity like products that are also not super competitive, so not competitive. So kind of like private label. Then whatever brands those are, I don't care. But as long as they're not commodities, then what I'll do is I'll go on to DHgate and I'll source products like those and I'll create a listing. So I'm buying them online. DHgate, you can basically buy 50, 20, 100 at a time. Free shipping and handling. It's just coming from China. So I'll buy like 50 or 100 at a time. Probably usually around 50, and I'll launch like multiple products. Like, so this is my online arbitrage. So I'll buy online from DHgate. I'll have it shipped to me. I'll create a listing. So I'm not using an existing one. I'll create a listing and I'll try to get that listing ramped up with just a generic non-branded product out there. And it's usually pretty inexpensive, 200, $200, because you're buying from China. It's pretty cheap. So try that out. I did a video on it. If you check my YouTube channel, you'll just do a search for it. I call it hybrid arbitrage. So I don't think there's anything that exists called hybrid arbitrage. I think I'm the only one who calls it that. So, but it's a really effective way for launching products that are in demand without having to private label or brand it. You can buy them quick online. You can buy them from your phone. Takes just a little bit of time to get the inventory, but the great thing is you can buy as much as you want. They price structure it, so if you buy 10, it's going to be this price. If you buy 20, it's going to be this price. If you buy 50, it's going to be down here. If you're buying like 100 plus, it's going to be down here. Like 10 may cost you like $5 each, whereas 100 may cost you $233 each. So then you're buying 100 for $230. That's a crazy, crazy deal. People wonder, well, isn't it expensive to start a private label business? Yes, it is, but it's not expensive to do um, this kind of arbitrage, this hybrid arbitrage, where it's like retail arbitrage. You're looking at products that are in demand, you're scanning products. It's just in reverse. You're actually going to Amazon, you're checking it all. So I'll do this from my phone. Is I'll jump on Seller Central, I'll go to add product, and then in the add product screen, you can see top 100, you can see bestsellers, you can see new launches or new releases. So those three categories, I like new releases because it's mostly all the private label stuff here. Tip, okay, that's a 30-second tip here that I've never told anybody, so it's a little bit of a secret. So secret hack to get there: through your phone, through your Seller Central app, hit add products, then you'll see the three different categories, top 100s, like I said, new releases are in there. Jump on that, then you'll see all the new releases, their ranks, what they're selling for, the price points, all of that. Write down whatever, 20 different products. Check out all the different brands on Amazon. Cool, the product looks like it's got some good demand. Go to DHgate, buy yourself 50 of them, get it shipped to you, comes to your house. Just from there, now you're in retail arbitrage world. Now you just take that inventory, get your FN SKUs on it. Now, here's the difference though. You can't list this under other listings. So you do have to, with hybrid arbitrage, you do have to create the listing. Okay, and that's why it's a hybrid of private label and retail arbitrage. Is you do have to create the listing from scratch. So you're going to need to go and get some UPC codes. I use a site where you can get like 100 for like $20. So it's really cheap. Once you have that UPC GS1 barcode, you can create as many listings as you want. Super easy to do. Listing title, some bullet points, some back end stuff, some photos, and away you go. So what's up, Jason? Nice to see you in here. Calgary, Alberta. I'm listening and thinking of questions. Yeah, just hit me up with any questions you got, Jason. So yeah, so that's basically how I do online arbitrage. It's completely different than how everyone else does it. Online arbitrage, for the most part, sucks. It's too time consuming. It just takes forever. It's not that fun. But hybrid arbitrage, a lot more fun, a lot more effective. It's the reverse. So you're looking for to list products that are actually in demand first. Then you're just sourcing them. You're throwing them on there generically, as long as they're not patented products. You're throwing on Seller Central, or excuse me, you're throwing them on your site generically, creating a listing, and then you have to hustle from there. You have to get some sales. However you're going to get them, you got to get people to buy your product. You got to list them for cheap, free for the first 10 you sell. Like, not free, but just no profit for the first 10 you sell. Get some reviews. Get 1 or 2 5-star reviews. Then run your PPC advertising. Put your product right up to market value and start making money on that. If it gets traction, here's why I call it hybrid arbitrage. If it gets traction, then you can actually switch your listing into your brand. So now you can private label that listing that you already created. So you almost create a dummy listing that if it gets traction, you can lock it down with a private label, lock it down with your brand, and start getting that product branded, buy the rest of the stock from Alibaba or freaking Made in China or wherever, and start going crazy because you grew the listing. So essentially it's like planting seeds and planting as many seeds for cheap. It's the best way to do it. It's what I teach. And then from the ones that grow, the flowers that grow, the ones that don't, who cares? But the ones that grow, that's where you start dumping your money and your cash flow into those. So I plan to put out a course on hybrid. It's not going to be for a while, probably not for at least 6 months, because I still need to develop content on that. And by content, I mean I have to keep working on my end to become more successful with that business model. But I think it's actually one of the, just and comment below if you think I'm off base. Let me know in the comments below. But if you think I'm on track, give me a heads up. I probably want to run with a test group at some point, maybe 10 guys or 10 girls, whatever, in 6 months from now, and coach you through it and see how you guys do in that world of Amazon, that business model. Okay. And like I say, with your brand, you're going to have your brand, your Amazon storefront. You need to have multiple pillars. I don't know who said it, but who was it? I don't know. Let's just say it was Gary Vee. But you need 7 income streams in order to create significant wealth for yourself, which makes sense to me. You don't want to have one leg to fall on. You want to have multiple. Whether it's consulting, your course, your Amazon retail arbitrage, private label, hybrid arbitrage, you're flipping things on Facebook Marketplace, you work a job. You need 7 sources of income to ultimately have success where you are going to be able to walk away from, the trading time for dollars world. Keith says, okay, that's interesting. So it's hybrid arbitrage and a bit of private label through DHgate. Dropping knowledge bombs. Yeah. I mean, I did a video on it, and the video is on the YouTube page. I also, in my course, I think I demonstrate this in our private Facebook group. So there's like a series where I basically went for 2 weeks straight and screen shared my actions, you doing that in that group. So that it's a private group. Again, I'm not really gonna spend a lot of time promoting my course on this video, but it's all in that course, guys. So it's the $97 course. It will be in the link below. But there's a lot of content there. But yeah, it's a hybrid because you're gonna start in the world of online arbitrage, where you're looking for products to buy online. You're not going into stores; you're buying them online, and it's just reversed a little bit because you're looking at the products through your Seller Central app. You don't even need Jungle Scout. You don't even need the Chrome app, the Chrome extension, or the web app. You don't need to spend money there. All you need is a Seller Central tool. Okay, in the Seller Central tool, again, it hit add product. It's going to give you those top 100 new releases and whatever that other one is. Um, there's three different categories where they show you the top 100 based on that. But you're going to jump into the new releases. You're just going to study the top 100. You're going to study the new releases. You're going to study the best products in all the categories you can sell in. Okay, you're going to write a list. Okay, I want to check out that one. I want to check out that one. You write a list of like 20 products you're interested in launching that are commodities that help people out. You want to make sure that they're helpful products that have some sort of benefit to people. It's not like you don't want to, it can't be a fidget spinner, guys. It's got to be something that that's helpful, that'll have long-term sales, sales for your business. And by write down a list of 20, make sure they're not patented. Then just go on DHgate, see how much you can buy them for. Don't buy a lot. That's why I'm suggesting DHgate. There are other sites, but I just don't want you to buy a lot. Max out like 50 of each. It's all you need to try to optimize the listing. You don't want to go for less because then it's hard to optimize the listing. But if you go for like 50, you can probably optimize the listing in the first 10 to 20 sales of selling them for very cheap. And then from there, you can jack up your price and usually break even or come out with a few bucks on top. But at 50 units, at $3 a unit, you're looking at 150 US. So whatever that's 200, it's basically $195 Canadian or $185 Canadian, whatever that is. So, but then you can launch like also multiple at a time. You can launch like 4 at a time for $1,000 and have 4 seeds planted, and you're optimizing 4 at a time. That means you're working a lot more. You're working harder, but you're working smarter and more efficient. One thing I always tell people in my course is and what I tell people on Instagram and I tell people on Facebook is and YouTube is don't just launch one product at a time. If you're in the private label game, try not to. I mean, a lot of coaches teach just a product launch, a single product launch, so singular. But what I found with that is the number one reason why people fail is because that product failed. The very first product failed, and they put in however much money in the private label, $2,000, $3,000 into product, and it failed. They couldn't get it off the ground no matter what they did, so they picked the wrong product and it failed. So now they have all this equity tied up and they're losing money and they're just sitting there. So hybrid arbitrage is a way to grow products without that big upfront capital investment and see what flowers grow and then convert those, but launch multiple little ones. Private label, people should be teaching the same thing. I teach the same thing. I tell people, if you're going to do private label and you're going to go big picture right away, try to launch 4 at a time, or try to get to 4 launches as fast as possible. Don't just sit on one, because if you made a mistake and didn't do a good buy and didn't do your research and were not diligent on picking the right product, picking low competition, high demand product, and you just went with like something you thought was cool, you fucked up. Okay, and that fuck up is a majority reason why people drop out of selling private label on Amazon and miss out on a lot of profit. One of the most, if not the most profitable business model for selling on Amazon. Keith, what do you think is the future of Amazon Canada, both retail arbitrage and private label? It can do nothing but grow. I mean, unless the government shuts down Amazon, which is not going to happen, unless the government gets involved and restricts product, puts lots of tariffs on purchases from China, it's not going to happen. We're pre-knee, guys. Let me explain something to everybody who's in here. So the 5 people who are watching this right now, you're in the greatest time of wealth building that you will have. If you don't capitalize on this time right now, you're gonna beat the shit out of yourself 20 years from now. Especially if you're in your 20s. When you're in your 40s, you're gonna kick the shit and you're gonna say, fuck, look at all those millionaires that were made becoming Amazon sellers. Amazon is a $250 billion business, and Jeff Bezos is saying, I'm going to let any citizen start selling on to my customer base that I built. And I am going to create this community where they're going to buy from you. And then there's all these other tools that are available for you to become a successful seller on Amazon. I've never seen it. I've never been a part. It was like it's like when I first was thinking of names for my course and what could I call my course. I was thinking like, fuck, can I call it the Gold Rush? Like the Gold Rush, because it's honestly it's equivalent of what probably those prospectors were knee deep in it during the gold rush, the 1800s. You know, we're just picking gold off the ground. Literally, we're just picking gold off the ground. I wake up every morning with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars of profit, and I haven't even done. I've nothing but slept. So, what? There's not is that's easier than actually gold, picking gold off the ground, because I got to pick that gold off. I got to go and sell the gold, or I'm sure like obviously gold being the commodity that it was during that time, it's wasn't easy, hard to do. People were becoming millionaires at that time. It's the same thing, guys. But if you wait 20 years, you're gonna miss the S curve, and we're so pre-knee in Canada. We're so pre-knee in Canada. I sit and look at when I'm doing product research. I'm like, I compare the U.S. marketplace and all the products that are just killing it in demand, like the sales that are being had in the products that I see in the U.S. are staggering. I'm like, his and her wine glasses. There's sellers selling upwards 2,000 to 5,000 units a month for one seller. Multiple sellers are doing those numbers on wine glasses. His and her wine glasses. I'm like, what the hell? That's insane. Like, there's so many products that are doing that much volume. It's staggering. And in Canada, we're like 10 times less because we just don't have as many people who are consuming on Amazon right now. But that can only go up. It can only go up. And what's bizarre right now is it's bordered. Amazon is essentially bordered for the most part. If you're a Canadian seller, you're selling in a Canadian marketplace. If you're Canadian, you're buying from the Canadian marketplace. You're not buying globally necessarily. Yeah, there are global sellers, guys that sell across borders and stuff obviously exists, but it's not huge. So marketplace, but your marketplace is the entire continent, or well, the entire country, not the continent. So, but yeah, you can sell in other marketplaces. So, and the fact that you can wake up and you'll have $300, $500 profit in your account, or 100, you can now wake up and you can look at your account and go, shit, I don't even have to go to work anymore. I can wake up with $100. I can now go do something more creative with my time. Salt. I can start a t-shirt printing company. I can go just preaching is buy and sell stuff on Facebook Marketplace. You can go and do anything you want. You can go over business. Whatever, film, create content for YouTube, lots that you can do, right? So yeah, so to answer your question, the future is bright. Sorry guys, am I good? Let me know if it's good. My video was saying reconnect, so just let me know in the comments if I'm good. It looks like I'm good. But like I was saying, private label is the number one way to passive income. And it's when you start your private label product and you get your private label product on the market and it does well, you're going to understand that that's where the money is. Okay? You're going to understand where that's where the money is. You're going to start wanting to duplicate your same success 10 times, 50 times. You're going to go, shit, I just created $3,000 a month passively profit from one product, You go, how the hell do I do this 10 times so I can become that $30,000 a month guy? That's what private label is. You you Retail arbitrage is more work than anything. It's a job. I love it. I think it's fun to go out and spend a Saturday shopping for 10 hours, but last Saturday was fucking exhausting. It was tiring. We went out from 9, got home at like 9, like 12 hours of sourcing product. We hit like 11 stores. We spent like $1,100. It was exhausting. It was fun, but I'm not going to want to do that every day. It's cool. A lot of risk involved for retail arbitrage, but it's not the way to huge money. Book arbitrage, if you're in the book business, I think it's a lot better than just general selling, general retail products from stores. Private label is, what I call private label for people is the professional. It's the professional product research. You're researching product that is in demand and then selling that product. So you have to become a pro at researching product, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of product, and putting it in a list and scrutinizing it. One thing that's in my course, again, small detail, but a thing that's in my course that I get people to do is to list their products. I actually created an Excel sheet. I call it, what do I even call it? I call it my risk calculator. Okay, and a risk calculator is actually just a spreadsheet, but with a series of like 7 questions that help you scrutinize all the products that you listed. So if you're going to do your Jungle Scout product research and you're coming up with products and you're at like 50 products and you're trying to scrutinize them over time, I have all the questions that I ask myself. Yes, yes, no, and then it actually is configured that if you answer no to any one of this little group of questions, stay away. If you answered no to any 3 times to any of these 3 questions or this group of questions, 3 strikes you're out. So I actually configure it with, levels of safeness. Again, all risk management, right? So that's again a cool thing about my course. That is in the description below. So. And again, guys, if you haven't done a blueprint, don't puzzle your shit together doing YouTube. Don't try to figure it out on your own. Get a blueprint. Use my course. Use someone's courses. Learn how to do it. That's why I dropped my course down from $500 to $100, under $100, so that people could learn. Because their number one objection was, how do I sell on Amazon? Or it's too expensive to buy a $500 course. Well, now that should be a no-brainer. Spending $100. I spent $100 today just buying out, eating out. So, which, if you watch me on Instagram, I said I am going to, for the next 30 days, monitor my spending habits, and take all those terrible spending habits and funnel that money into product. Even if I have to stop at a store and buy 1 product a day because I'm funneling $4 instead of going to McDonald's and getting hotcakes and sausage, I'm going to put that into a product, take that product, put it in a box. Once that box or 2 boxes is filled, I'm going to ship it out. But I'm going to grow my inventory, guys. Hit that like button if you think that's a good idea. All right. Jason, is your course for 7 or more streams of income? The course that is $97 is fundamentals of selling on Amazon. From there, once you learn the fundamentals of selling on Amazon, you can do multiple streams. Okay, so the course, how my business works, my Coach Chris Beck crash courses work, is I have a fundamental course now. My main course that was $500, I dropped it down. It teaches you private label, 10 modules. Go check out some of my YouTube videos. I put in all the modules, the exact time, the title of what you're going to learn, every model, all the way down to an action plan for private label. I teach you retail arbitrage in those 2 courses and a little bit of affiliate marketing. But that's the 2 fundamentals. Everything you need to learn about selling on Amazon, from starting a business and a brand all the way through to managing your products, to the point where now it's just 15 minutes every week or every 2 weeks of, every day. For my private label products, I spend less than 15 minutes managing them, maybe 5 some days, because mainly you're doing customer service. So you're the primary customer service rep for your brand. So you got to respond to customers who reply on Amazon. You have to, it's mandatory. Sometimes you'll have 2 messages, sometimes you'll have 10. You got to get back. I usually say it takes about 5 minutes to write a good response to a customer. So it could be 10 minutes, it could be 50 minutes. But, I rarely get 10. Most on average, I get about 3 a day. That's what it takes me to manage my private label products. The other thing I got to manage it with is every so often I'm trying to optimize it. I'm just trying to squeeze it for one more sale. How can I just make this a little bit better? How can I make it come up for this keyword? I'm always just trying to improve it. If you have tools like Jungle Scout, it'll tell you what your listing quality score is, your LQS. And that's just like, there's so many bad listings on Amazon that are under Amazon standards, they call them terrible listings. They actually score them low. In fact, I'll give you an example. To qualify for Black Friday, you have to have a LQS of above 5, meaning the quality of your listing, your photos, your listing title, your bullet points have to be scored above 5. You won't know what that score is. You won't even be able to figure out, but Amazon does. So if you want to qualify for more sales, you actually have to have a good listing. Okay, so I teach listing quality score. I teach everything. It's the blueprint of freaking selling on Amazon, and it's less than $100. But in order to get the 7 other courses that will come out, so consulting, how to build a course, how to do retail arbitrage 2.0. So 2.0 is just purely about the profit, purely about the score, purely about the buys. Okay, anything private label 2.0 is purely about the buys. So it's advanced. It's for people who are already know the fundamentals. I'm not teaching you how to create a listing. I'm not teaching you any of the BS. I'm just teaching you purely about the buys. Okay, and where you can maximize your buys and how you can scale your business. So when people learn the fundamentals, they learn how to sell. They now know how to create a listing. They now know how to buy their UPC code, how to do product research, how to optimize their bullet points, how to make it look good, how to HTML their description, how to manage their company, how to do their accounting, their bookkeeping, all the tools to creating a business. Once you learn that, you can do anything. You can consult with people. You can start your own YouTube channel. People will reach out to you. People will leave you a message. Hey, coach, can you teach me how to do it? You can charge what you want. If you want to start a consulting business, that's what I did 2 months into the business. 2 months into business, I mean, I certainly had 20 years of management experience. Some people don't have that. But 2 months in, I taught myself a foundation of how to sell on Amazon. And already people were asking me to help them build their businesses. I wasn't going to say no. That's how my consulting business started. Private label launched successfully right away within the first 5 weeks. Retail arbitrage business within the first, chose my product within 2 weeks, put my order. Now while my product's being created in China, being produced, in that 3-week time, I went and started retail arbitrage business. Started buying products and learning how to, because my whole goal was, I got to learn how the back end works for Seller Central. I got to learn how to run a PPC ad, using the course that I took. So I did retail arbitrage. All of a sudden, that became a big business of mine, blah, blah, blah. Then I'd say, how can I be more efficient? So many people are failing, launching bad products. They're falling out. Some of my students are losing money. They're launching bad products. They're not taking my advice. How can I make it so that people kind of step back and maybe do it differently? And that's what I started teaching hybrid arbitrage, which is what I was just talking about earlier in this video. Jason, are you all in now? Quit your job? No, not at all. In fact, I'm actually been working at a company I've been working for almost 21 years now. I work in the fitness industry. I love it. I love the people I work for. I love the owner of the company. I think it's one of the greatest companies on the planet. And I don't know if I ever will quit. I'm at a point in my life where I'm at a senior and executive level within the company, and they pay me really well to come into the office and work. So I don't plan on it, but you never know. I mean, if all of a sudden there was no reason to do it anymore, I mean, I have a team that works for me of, like 7, 8 people that are really close group. So yeah, there's no necessary reason for me right now, unless my health were a big factor, which is another thing that I'm worried, because like if people don't know this about me, I'm a diabetic, so there's a lot of stuff I got to worry about there. So if that were to shift in any way where I can control it and I needed time, I still go to the job. I still have to spend time there. Usually I spend between 5 and 8 hours a day, sometimes more. I do have a family of 4. I do coach at 6 a.m. I do coach high school basketball. I have 4 children. I do a lot of stuff. So I have like multiple jobs. I could not agree more, Coach Respect. You inspire. So when did you decide to go all in with Amazon and leave your job? Am I on the decision phase at that? So when did you decide? So Keith, were you listening? I didn't actually leave my job. And people ask me this all the time. Why don't you? Why don't you quit doing what you're doing? My goal was to retire my wife. My wife left her job. She used to work at the casino in Burnaby. She no longer works there. She worked a night job. She no longer works there. She doesn't have to do it anymore. So her freedom was more important as far as that's concerned. Um, Again, I love what I do. I love working in the fitness industry. I love working at Fitness Town. Everyone's seen my blue shirts that sometimes I'm wearing, but I'm not always there. I run a completely different company, an independent company. From them, I run a service company that services all the fitness equipment in all of British Columbia. Well, basically in our radius, which is from Whistler to Hope. We have 300-400 contracts, and then all the residential stuff that people buy. So I basically manage a massive company that takes care of fitness equipment in our region. So that is my that's been my primary income, man. And one thing I've always said is I've always been a I've always been a loyal person, super loyal to people. And by walking away, I think that would probably, not to say I hold things together, but I think that would probably be the end of a lot of people's income, because I don't think it can be managed. Or well, I'm sure it could. I'm not going to say it can't be, but I just think that to keep myself happy. Um, yeah, you just answered as I pressed. Oh, no worries, Keith. This is very inspiring and nice to see a fellow Canadian being successful at it. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, God, if you're from the 604, you'll probably see me around, but and we should probably meet up. But it's not hard to do. A lot of people think I've been doing it for a long period of time. I've only been doing it. My first product landed May of last year. Um, for me, it's a journey. For me, it's like, yeah, I started my brand prior to that, and I incorporated my brand into Amazon. So again, going back to branding, is I used a brand that was dear to me. It was my baby. It's my fifth child. It's my brand. It's the most important thing. It's one of the most important things next to my wife and my kids. It's my brand. Next to wife and my family, it's my brand. I use my brand for my companies that I build. So when you can find a brand that means that much to you, the rest is going to be a lot more simple. Developing your coaching company, developing your private label business, your retail arbitrage business, your hybrid business, your courses, your YouTube channel, your Instagram, whatever, and anything else that you want to do, right? I have lots of things that I want to do. I eventually want to, create a little bit of a sports camp for kids. Um, build uh, Build a sports center in the woods that's all circled around various sports, but it's just for the youth, right? For youth. So, up at a lake somewhere that they get to hang out for, a week or 10 days or a month or whatever the case may be. So that's kind of one of my big dreams, to put something like that together. Nicole, what is up? Yeah, we should meet up. We should do a meetup. Someone's got to orchestrate that. I'm terrible at orchestrating that. You want to orchestrate it, Nicole? Keith's from Vancouver, and Indian Tigress is from Vancouver. You're from Vancouver. Are you from Vancouver, Nicole? Yeah, right. I would love to do drive through the mountains and talk Amazon. Yeah, Def, you're from Calgary. You're not far away. Come viz. We'll do a meetup. We'll do an Amazon meetup. Um, yeah, let's figure that out. You guys can always jump on Coach Crispect. That's another one of my brands. That's kind of just my pseudo name. Um, Coach Crispect. Uh, I'm always posting stuff on there. I don't know. I don't really know where to create this type of stuff. I'm not great at that. But I'm in. Hi Sheila. Yeah, I mean, if you guys want to get together once a week or once a month or whatever, I'm down for that. Help you guys out. We'll do a retail. What we'll do is, and hey, I just so you guys know, I started a retail arbitrage championship on Instagram. Some of you guys, I'll jump over because there's a few Instagram people who follow me that we're always chatting back and forth. They're also from Vancouver, and they're taking the challenge. They'll probably want to meet up too. We probably could get like 15 people together, 10 for sure. We'll set something up. But I did retail arbitrage challenge. We're actually doing some retail arbitrage. So you guys should jump onto my Instagram and join the challenge. It's already gone. It's over in like the 23rd of September or something like that. Champion gets a trophy. The person with the most sales in the 30-day period gets a trophy. So that was just something I created just to get people started selling on Amazon, because you can start for like $50. You don't need to have a pro seller account. You can do it on a private account. You don't need to really have much upfront capital. Probably get product, $50 worth of product, and start your business, right? Not that it's going to be huge right away with $50. You can only just learn that you'll enjoy. See, with what I tell people is with $50 investment, as soon as that first sale comes through, you're going to enjoy waking up at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock and you looking at your app and go, wow, I just made $15 while I slept. You're going to be, an epiphany is going to go, poof, and you're going to go, whoa, you're going to think you struck gold. Like I said earlier, you're going to think you struck gold, and then you're going to try to run with it. Right on. Retail arbitrage meetup would be great. What's your Instagram, coach? My Instagram is the wise guy. I spelt it wrong last time. For everybody's sorry. It's the wise guy. THEWYSEGUY. The wise guy. I'm watching Gary V. I was watching Gary V videos. If you guys ever seen, I don't know if you guys watch much Gary V, but I watched this interview with Gary V on No Jumper. No Jumper is with, I forget that guy's name. Chris Long or something like that. No, not Chris Long. Some other guy. But it was a pretty cool interview. But he was talking a little bit about branding, so it got me on this branding kind of rant. I wanted to put something out to explain how important brands got to be for you. That is it. You got it. You got it, Keith. Yeah, that's right. You can type into these phones. I'm not illiterate. I'm just lazy. So here's another thing. So yeah, so we talk about brands. We talk about building a big business. Private label has to be your anchor store. Retail arbitrage is going to be one of your little stores that, like when you go to a mall, your anchor store might be like whatever, Sears, which is no longer around, Walmart. That's your anchor store. That's going to be where all your business is done. But you're always going to have those small little retail stores around it. Retail arbitrage is one of those. Your course might be one of those until it eventually goes into an anchor store. But your brand's got to be important. Part of all that equation. What's the name of your mall? What is the primary name of your mall? You built the mall, and then everything you're doing business under that mall, your DBAs will be everything that you create under it. Okay, so keep that in mind when you're building your brand. Lost my train of thought. I forget what I was going to say. But I was going to say something profound from that. Um, so yeah, so just building a big brand, private label wise, is got to be your start. No jumper, Adam. Yeah, that is it. Grand Mason, the BMX guy. Yeah, I just started watching this guy recently. I don't know, I came across like XXX Tenacion or whatever his name is, the kid who died, and I didn't realize that Adam was like XXX's first interview. And I watched that interview and I'm like, this kid is actually really sharp. Cool kid. Sad that he died. That whole whatever happened there. I don't pay a whole lot of attention to today's hip hop. I'm still stuck in the 90s when it comes to hip hop. But yeah, he did an interview with that. It was an amazing interview. I thought it was probably one of his best interviews, and I've been on this like Adam no jumper video watching frenzy. Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So, and you guys have probably been in the same situation. Let me know in the comments if you guys have are in this stage of your Amazon selling endeavor. How many YouTube videos are you guys watching a day? How late are you guys staying up at night? How much time are you guys putting in to learning things? Because that's where I started too. Obviously, I did the course as my blueprint. I did a course. It was like the whole late night thing. But, and I don't know if some of you might have seen my other videos where I talk about this. I didn't initially want to get into Amazon, and I didn't know anything about Amazon or selling on Amazon. I had no clue what this business model was about. Initially, what I was trying to do is I was trying to get back into sales. Um, I was in sales for like half my life. And I thought, I want to start a social media marketing agency. Not because I watched Ty Lopez, I was watching some of Ty Lopez's videos, but then I'd seen some up next videos from other guys, and I came across this one by Hayden Peddle. He was talking about social media marketing, and then a bunch of other guys, and I got on this social media marketing kind of trip and thought, I could probably do it. I've done it before. Be interesting. It's cool. Help people start their social medias, but kind of got deterred by getting back into the, you know, cold calling life. That wasn't interesting to me. But I just happened to hit another up next video, and it was from a guy like probably how you stumbled upon me, talking about Amazon and selling on Amazon. He's showing me his figures and stuff like that. And I'm like, what's that all about? And I just started watching his lives, and that's how I learned about selling on Amazon. About the same, yeah. So that's how I learned about selling on Amazon. And from there, I took his course, spent 500 US, learned it in 4 hours, ordered all the tools I needed. People ask me how much money you need to be successful on Amazon. I tell them exactly what I spent up front, which was 9 grand initially. So that usually scares everybody away. But I spent 9 grand initially. 5 grand. I bought 1,000 units of my very first product. I was that confident. Cost me a little over 5 grand. I bought a year's subscription to Jungle Scout. I bought the Chrome extension. I bought Fetcher. I bought a laptop. I bought everything. I mean, I went all in as far as a capital investment. Do you need to do that? No, I could have likely scaled a lot of that stuff back. I had inventory last me for 3 months. And I ran out of freaking inventory, which screwed me over. What do I say? Like some 12 grand in my video. I tell people that I lost 12 grand because I ran out of inventory, and my average sales on that one product would have, by the time it took me to get back to top rank, was like 12 grand in profit. So, but yeah, you live and you learn. But that all started from hours and hours and hours of watching YouTube videos. That's how I started. And that's how I stumbled on what I stumbled on. And from there, I was staying up late nights. For the first month at least, I would stay up till 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, building my brand, product researching nonstop. come home from work till 6, take a break for an hour, start at 7, and go till 4 in the morning. And I did that for at least 4 weeks. Did it for to find my product, did it to optimize my listing, did it for every aspect of the business. So when people talk about working hard, yes, guys, you have to always check the box of working hard. You have to work. You have to put in the work, and the work is clocking in and clocking out. You have to clock in, so give yourself a break, and then you have to clock in. Okay, you guys have to clock in to your computer. Sit there and start working. Start doing your product research, nonstop product research. I was doing some YouTube videos at the time. Anything I could do just to put work in to this actual business was clocking in. And I would just constantly find things to educate myself and learn a lot. Then when I started picking up clients, it was a way for me to teach myself more things and yet help clients become successful. One of the first people I helped become successful, she is based out in New York in the States. And she ultimately launched a product that was selling for $50. She bought for 20, just under 20, and was selling it for like $50, so making like $25 profit or something like that. It was like a $17 investment. She was selling for 50. She was at least making $20 a sale, and she was averaging 50 units a day in sales. And no, it was not a fidget spinner. It was actually a high demand product, and she was averaging 50 units a day in sales. Staggering, just staggering stuff. And this is obviously New York. She was based out of New York, so her second product's not doing as well, but we're trying to optimize that together. So we're trying to work on that product to get that product up to speed. But yeah, so I mean, again, it goes back to putting in the work. So during that whole phase, I would stay up doing customized videos for all my original content. Like I probably have 250 videos on my channel, but I probably have 500 videos on the back end that are privatized and private linked to all the clients that I work with. I would do a customized video specific to where they're at. You know, hey Keith, what's up, Kate? You know, so at this point, here's what I need you to do. I need you to optimize this and that. Do a search for this, come up with that, and I would go through exactly the next stages, teach them how to do it, make sure I screen share everything, so just show them a demonstration. That's how I became really advanced my knowledge of the business fairly quick. And doing 500 videos and teaching people will make you sharp, because now people are relying on you to give them proper information to help them succeed and win, right? So, and then from there, people are like, "Well, make a course," or and you know, not a lot of people were doing it, but I basically decided, you know what, it's probably about time I leverage, because it was getting a little out of hand. I had on average 5 clients because that's all I could fit time wise, and I was still messing up because I still couldn't get to everybody, because I again coaching in the morning 6 a.m., then in the office. And that's when I was thinking, right at that time, should I quit my job and do this full time? And I decided, no, I'm not going to abandon the people that I have spent 20 years with, who I work closely with, who rely on their incomes, don't sell on Amazon, that type of stuff. So I decided, you know, I'm going to put out a course. I'm going to teach you all on a course, put that course out. And that's why the course became so big. 10 hours, like 10 modules, 10 plus hours of content in just pure wisdom. So that's the story behind how that evolved. And yeah, so now people are going, well, teach me how to scale this thing up. Teach me how to scale private label. How did you get to 10 listings? What are the tricks you know? You know, how did you find your first 30-cent product? What, you know, people ask me the question, how much does it cost to sell on Amazon? That's a hard question to answer, because it all depends on how long you've been selling on Amazon. For beginners, it costs a lot more than it does for somebody who's been doing it for almost 2 years, because that guy who's been doing it for almost 2 years knows not to make the same mistake twice. So I'll give you an example. My last product that I was able to buy 500 units of at a bundle double value, so two of the same products together, so essentially 1,000 units, And in each product is two products. So one package has two products in there. I'm combining two packages, so you get four products. So it's actually 4,000 units. Um, Cost me, all said and done, shipped to Amazon, $1,000. And those 4 units I bundled into a 500 unit deal. So for $2, all those products are in Amazon right now, 500 units. Um, that's crazy. Here's what I'm selling it for, $24.99. Now, again, this stems from my hybrid. I would have never figured this product out if I didn't do 50 units up front, build the listing, and the listing became successful and it's ranked. I wouldn't have done that. Wouldn't have been able to optimize it if I didn't know PPC and how to actually benefit my listing using PPC. Now, this is actually a one in a kind listing. It's pretty tight. It's pretty tight. I'll just say that much. So that's 15 months, 16 months later, right? So May, June, July, August. So 15, 16 months later, you can do it for $1,000, but you don't have the knowledge to do it upfront. Your first product's probably going to cost you $2,500 in inventory, and the shipping, the whole thing to get 500 units. You're probably going to buy a product around $5 Canadian is what it's going to cost you. So $5 Canadian is going to cost you that times however many units you want to buy. If you're only going to buy 100, it's $500. Let me go back. Stupid question, not a stupid question. What is PPC? PPC is pay per click, Jason. So PPC is Amazon's trademark name or brand name for their advertising. PPC, pay per click. You got it. Nicole says, LOL, last year I was watching several hours a day. Now I listen to a lot of audiobooks while I drive between stores. I don't do the audiobooks anymore. I used to. I mean, I've tried lots of businesses. If we did a meetup, and we'll talk about all the businesses I tried, and you guys can talk all the businesses you've tried, but I've never found one as successful as Amazon out of all the businesses I've tried over the course of time. But one of the businesses I've tried, I've probably listened to hundreds of thousands of hours of audio tape. Maybe y'all know what that business is. And I love that business. It taught me a lot of where I am today as an individual. 3 hours a day of YouTube for the last month. That's how you do it, man. You got to put it in, content. You got to learn. But you got to take action, Jason. So make sure that you're not just doing it, but you actually have your account. Even if it's just a personal account, you're free. You go buy $50 worth of product, ship it in. Now you're taking action. Now you have your app on. Now you're looking at your sales. Now you're trying to own the buy box for every sale. Now you're trying to learn. If you're guessing and trying to puzzle this shit together, don't waste your time. Spend $100, get my course. You also get me. So I've been on here for an hour and 8 minutes with you guys. Obviously, people are emailing me every day. I'm usually back to them within an hour of responding to their questions, making sure that I guide them, my students. No jumper, haha, same as to Jace. Since the US has a larger population, what are your thoughts selling there as a Canadian? The demand and sheer magnitude of the population would increase success much quicker. So 100%. So I don't do retail arbitrage in the US. I'm not interested in again, like I said 10 minutes ago, retail arbitrage is a full-time job. It's trading hours for money, for dollars, because you have to go and buy that product. You have to pay for, it's the whole going and buying it, bringing it back, boxing it up, scanning it into your inventory, labeling it all. It's time consuming. It's a day, 10-hour day, plus another 10-hour day to ship out your inventory every week. So it means 20 hours a week to do that, if not more, just depending on how much inventory. We ship 300 units on the weekend, so I just dropped those boxes off on Monday. But on the Saturday, we bought 300 units, and on the Sunday, we packaged it up and shipped it out. Didn't take as long to do the packaging and ship it out, probably about 4 hours. But on Sunday, we spent like 12 hours, so 16 hours for $1,000, $1,100 worth of inventory. What if I want to do 5 times that? Do I have to spend 5 times the time? Yes. Okay, so I don't do retail arbitrage in the States because I don't want to put that much time and energy into that portion of my business. Who knows what I'll do in the future? Maybe I'll start a company. Maybe I'll hire a couple staff to go buying and somebody to do all the packaging. Who knows? Might do that. That's interesting to me. But right now, I'm not at that point. Private label, however, completely different game. So yes, with the private label business, both the US and Canada, my products are available for sale. I'll launch my product, I'll buy it from China, I'll have it shipped straight into the US. Usually it arrives at Dallas, and that's where my product will go. And in Canada, it's always going out to Ontario most of the time, sometimes locally. But that's a different world because it's easy to do. I can just sit and order my inventory and have it shipped to any destination I want. World of free trade agreement. Love it. Stupid question, but what is PPC? Answered that for you. Thank you, Nicole. Pay per click advertising. So Jason, just with PPC, it's a thing that you definitely need to learn about when selling on Amazon. It's how you're going to go from averaging 5 sales a day to averaging 15, 20 sales a day. That extra 15 sales, you're going to spend about 20% worth of your profit to get those sales. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe you're going to spend about 30%, excuse me, not 30% of your profit, 30% of the cost of your goods, or 20% of the cost of your goods. Well, but there's going to be a ceiling where you're going to cap it at, and there's tricks to how to maximize and optimize your pay-per-click advertising. But here's advertising in a nutshell on Amazon. When you first launch a product, you appear on like page 15, page 30, page 40, page 5. Doesn't matter. If you're not on page 1, you're missing out on 90% of where the sales occur. When you're searching a keyword, no matter what it is, and you're buying something on Amazon, you're usually buying from page 1. Rarely ever from page 2. Like maybe one of every 100 things you bought was a page 2 product. But you're usually buying from page 1. That's where the best deals are. That's where the most popular product is. That's also all the sellers that sell on the most products. So they rise to page 1. So how to get your product to appear on page 1 without actually having reviews that give you a spot, sales that give you that spot organically, is you have to do pay per click advertising and optimize and rank yourself for different keywords. So I teach this in the course on how to rank for different keywords. And so that's how you get to page 1 pretty quick. Now, there are some people that say you shouldn't run pay per click if you don't have any reviews. You can run pay per click if you don't have any reviews. You just are not going to get a lot of sales. Sales increase. The premise of buying on Amazon is that you read what other people say, the good things people say about the product, and that's why you buy it, because you can't actually touch it and feel it and try it. So you have to kind of rely on what other people's stories are about the product. If you don't have any stories about your product, you're just not going to get some sales until you actually have some stories. So there is, a lot of people who go and solicit reviews. It's against terms of service for Amazon to solicit reviews, but people do it anyway. Just don't get caught. But get yourself 2 or 3 reviews. Now that you have those 2 or 3 reviews, your pay per click skyrockets. So it goes from maybe you're getting 1 or 2 sales a day, 3 or 4 with none, to all of a sudden 5 or 10 because you have some reviews. So, and you're on page 1, But the difference is every time someone clicks on your ad, that's a sponsored ad, you have to pay per click. So depending on what your product is, if you're selling harmonicas, it might be really cheap, 20 cents a click, because it's just the niche it's in. But if you're selling like L'Oreal soap, you might be spending like $6 a click. Now, you're not selling L'Oreal brand soap, you're not selling in that category most likely. You're probably selling in a category where pay-per-click is going to be anywhere from 10 cents to $1.50, just depending on how strongly popular the keyword is. But what I find is at the end of the day, when I'm making sales, as long as my listing is optimized and I'm paying attention to my pay-per-click, I can usually keep it at around 20 20% of my product, which my product is actually gives me about, it's about a 40% return. So meaning about 20% is profit for me and 20% for Amazon for all the extra sales that I'm getting. Again, without pay per click, I'm probably getting 5 to 7 of certain products. With it, I'm getting 15 to 25. So those are extra sales. You would have never got them. Now you're just paying 20% to Amazon to get those sales. And boom, all that extra money for you. So that is the idea behind pay per click. So we've been running 75 minutes. Does anybody have any last questions for me before I head out? It's almost 1. I got to wake up at 6, 5:45 and coach in the morning. So let me know if you have any questions or out. We're going to head out. So Nicole, set up that meet. Let's do that. I don't know where you want to do it, or where everyone wants to do it. You can even go on to Coach Respect and leave a message on there. Meetup. We'll do a meetup on there. We'll set something up, or even I'll try to do it. But yeah, jump on to Coach Respect on Facebook. We'll try to set up something, some sort of meetup, and maybe leave a comment in the comment section of this video where you'll be in town, and we'll try to set something up, do something fun. Maybe we'll do something fun. All right, guys. Coach Respect, a wise guy. Yeah, just shoot me a message. We'll chat about it. And Keith, your last question: do you see shipping prices costs falling in Canada? It eats into Facebook. Um, Fulfillment by merchant and eBay profits a lot. Plus, what are your thoughts on Shopify drop shipping in Canada? I don't have any thoughts on shopping, or excuse me, I don't have any thoughts on Shopify at all. I have zero experience in Shopify world. I never tried starting a Shopify store. Probably won't. I don't like to dilute my attention. So, I mean, it's already diluted enough just doing consulting, retail arbitrage, private label, online arbitrage, coaching, my course, YouTube. I can't do a Shopify store. But I will say this: I do watch its growth. I do some stories on my Instagram where I'll just read some articles that I find really intriguing. Again, it's another way to educate myself. So I do these stories where I'll read articles, and I have read some great things about Shopify and its growth. I do think it's a really great business model for young entrepreneurs to start. It's a great business model for brands. I may go there one day. I might. I love how Logan Paul branded himself, and that's how he does a lot of money on his Maverick brand. Where her name is Kylie Jenner, or one of the Jenners. I mean, she's got one of the biggest Shopify stores. Her brand is huge. So that personal brand and that store, it really intrigues me. I've tried opening up some other stuff, but again, time is of the essence. So I'm not really in that Shopify world right now. Shipping costs in Canada, I wish they would drop. They're freaking ridiculous. It's one of my early videos I did when I was like just floored by how expensive it is. You can't be a fulfillment by merchant in Canada and win. It's impossible with the prices that they're charging. One envelope they can charge you like $15 to ship. What are you gonna sell? We just don't have the same deal that they do in the US, where you can get those envelopes stuffed and full for like $5 and ship out stuff. So we just don't have that luxury. So to be honest, I don't know how people do fulfillment by merchant. I am doing fulfillment by merchant on some of my bigger ticket items, where I'll build kind of the price of the goods into, or the price of shipping into the price of the goods, and charge a little premium for shipping. But other than that, like, I don't know how people win. I really don't. So I think that struggle is going to stay the same. I don't think Canada Post is willing to make a deal with Amazon. Why we're not as big in the Amazon sales right now is because we don't have that good shipping deal. And you can take that to the bank. That's definitely the truth behind that. Whereas US has that massive shipping deal, but Amazon is still compensating for that with fulfillment by Amazon. So obviously, better business model to be in is fulfillment by Amazon by far. And as far as shipping your products to Amazon, I don't use anything but deep discount shipping via the Amazon Seller Central app. So when I'm shipping my boxes of inventory in, if I'm doing retail arbitrage, I'm just using the shipping feature in the app. I don't bring my boxes to UPS. I don't pay their rates, Canada Post rates. I use the shipping app function because it's like 70, 80% off. I can ship a box. Like I shipped a 27 kilogram box. I shipped 7 boxes. One was 27 kilograms, one was 19 kilograms, and then the rest were like around 5 kilograms. So about 25 kilograms to about 50, about 70 kilograms cost me $60. $60 for 300 units. That's what is that amortized? 50 cents? 50 cents a unit for shipping to ship that in? That's pretty damn good. So, with that, I will wish you guys a good night. And I will see you guys tomorrow if you want to join me. Maybe same time, probably a late one. The 8 o'clock one was terrible. I had like 2 people, so I just shut that thing down. I was also like not even awake. So we'll do something tomorrow. I'll figure out another topic to discuss. If you have any topics you want me to discuss live tomorrow, just put them in the comment section and then we'll talk about that. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with me. Hit that subscribe button wherever it is. Coach Respect. Peace.